What is up, YouTube? It is Doc here, Docky Style Gaming, and I am back at it again with another Godfall video for you all today. Now, in this video, we are going to be breaking down some of the brand new lore details we got, and some in-depth look, and some new gameplay that we got with it, and of course, some new concept art. There's also some pretty interesting things to go over with some of these enemy factions that we got some info on, but I'll get into that a little later in the video. So let's get ready for day 3 of these consistent Godfall uploads. So without wasting any more time, and like I always say, without further ado, let's hop straight into this new info. So today, luckily, we got some brand new lore info, which also gave us some new gameplay and some more concept art. But this bit of lore info is essentially about the separation between Auron and Macros, what ultimately drove both of the brothers in arms apart, and what's ultimately getting ready to happen by the launch of the game. So not too soon after Auron and Macros led the Valorians against the final Archon, things seemed to kind of be striving for a time. Now, a former member of Auron and Macros' army, Captain Rhea, went on and started raiding Vargoyle camps, the race that reside within the Earth Realm. Now, when brought to Auron and Macros to face punishment, Macros thought she did nothing wrong and that she should be spared for punishment, as Macros believed that the land and the realms belonged to the Valorians, and that all the other races should have essentially never been created by the Archons. And with that small gesture, Auron ultimately started to see Macros' true colors. Now, not even soon after, Macros led the Valorians against the Vargoyle and later the other races of Empyrean. Now, originally, the Nyack race, the faction of the cult-like enemies, joined the Valorians in fear of how they quickly turned on the other races. And even at one point, they were aides and allies to the Valorians that helped take down the Archons, which also kind of lets us know why they think they might be more superior than the Valorians. But ultimately, the Nyack quickly joined forces with the Vargoyle, and then shortly after, the Abyssians of the Water Realm, and then of course, the Flamebloods of the Fire Realm joined the Nyack to get ready to go to war with the Valorians. Now, ultimately, things didn't go as planned when all the other races decided to join up together, because Macros and his Valorians ultimately hunted down the other races. And at this time, Auron really wasn't down with that, not wanting there to be another war, and the thought of Valorians fighting against mortals he felt was unworthy. But during this war, the other races either fled or submitted to the Valorians. Where Macros sought victory, Auron saw injustice. And the name of this war was called the Unification, which brought peace and apparently advancement to the world. But Auron ultimately knew it was truly bloodshed and subjugation. And whereas Macros wanted to hide the truth about what happened and how the Valorians prospered, Auron wanted to preserve the legacy of what actually happened. Now, during this time of peace and advancement, two political structures were formed, the Dawn Lords and the Dusk Lords, who both ruled together and reported into the Archon Regent, who is their king, essentially, in this hierarchy. Now, the title of War Master was also a thing, but was only to be created when necessary. During the rise of Empyrean and the peace and prosperity, Ethereum was pretty abundant, and the Godsmiths, who were able to harness the Ethereum, were creating massive structures and weapons for the world. Now, sadly, because of all the wars and fighting due to Macros' ambitions, they were starting to dwindle on the Ethereum that was actually around. So soon, the Valorians began to tax and ask for tribute by the people of the world. And not too soon after, the Godsmiths created the Seven Sanctums and the Skybreaker's Monolith, the spire that essentially towered over the world that was able to bend reality and house all of the elemental realms within it. Now, when it comes to the Seven Sanctums, in game, we know that there is a 7th Sanctum, which is our home base of operation where all of the Valorplate armors reside. Now, what's interesting is that there's actually 6 more that have yet to be seen. Now, what's housed inside these other sanctums, potentially other sets of Valorplates, that's speculation, but would be an interesting thought. We've only seen one of the sanctums, so it'll be interesting to see the other 6. But continuing with the lore side of things, the 7 sanctums are living beings that answer to no one, until eventually the Valorians revoked their independence. Now, the 7th sanctum refused and was sealed away while the other 6 served their respective cities. Now, Auron pledged to defend the 7th sanctum as it held their true history, the bloodshed and conquering of Empyrean by the Valorians' hands. But with Macros doctoring history and him growing a massive following and armies, ultimately he set out with a new plan to ascend and become a god. And that's all of the info we got so far. Now, most of this I have covered before, and even in some of my most recent videos, we did learn from the Seventh Sanctum and Orin himself in the gameplay audio that is ultimately what Macros' plan is. He's going to try to turn himself into a god, but by doing so would bring about the apocalypse.
What do you think will happen if Macros succeeds?
He becomes a god, and the world as we know it will end.
I feel you may be right.
But some of the most important things I think to take away from this is that there's not only 6 more sanctums that potentially we might be able to explore, and that might be housing something pretty important inside of them, but also that the fact that the Nyack helped the Valorians defeat the Archons. I know I mentioned this before when we first got a good look at them and some of the descriptions. These might potentially be our most challenging foes to fight in game. They definitely seem to be the most intelligent, so it'll be interesting to see how they fare up against other Valorians and some of the dialogue that'll be going on throughout the game. So before I end, I do want to say that since I am doing these 12 Days of Godfall videos leading up to the launch of Godfall's release, I want y'all to be able to pick my next video. Now, I already have the video planned for Wednesday unless we get some more brand new information, but for Thursday I'll be letting y'all decide what type of video y'all want to see. So as of right now, I'm either working on a weapon class breakdown on one of the 5 weapons I haven't covered so far, or a Valorplate breakdown that I've been working on as well. So let me know in the comment section which one y'all will prefer, and by Thursday I'll tally up all the votes, and whichever ones has the most is going to be the video that drops on Thursday. So if you want to see a breakdown on one of the weapon classes, let me know in the comment section, or if you want to see a breakdown on one of the Valorplates I haven't covered, let me know in the comment section as well. So that is all I really got for this video. Thank you all for watching. Like always, links to all my social media accounts are in the video description along with the link to the Discord, and be sure to leave a like if you liked the video, leave a dislike if you didn't. I am out of here, guys. Thanks for the love, thanks for the subs, peace.